Tonight, our in-depth coverage covers the housing crisis. We're talking about the actual houses and apartments in our city. Today, Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols announced a plan to build more homes in Tulsa, and the hope is to get the prices to an affordable level. 6,000 new and affordable places to live in just 3 years. Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols signed an executive order to get the ball rolling on what was one of his campaign promises.
Public, private, we're all aligned on the work ahead. And what's clear about that work ahead is now it is time to actually do it.
Under the new plan, the city will take action to reduce barriers, not just to hopefully spark new construction, but also encourage developers to take over vacant, condemned, and unlivable properties scattered throughout the city.
When we think about that blight goal and we think about the affordable housing goal, this is where those two things intersect.
While there are many problematic areas in Tulsa, one in particular on the city's radar is the Vista at Shadow Mountain apartment complex at 61st and Memorial, where many vacant units sit to this day uninhabitable because of poor building maintenance. But the new housing units can and will range from a complex to a building down to a single-family house citywide.
We want builders to be incentivized to bring those properties back into productive use and ideally create more affordable housing.
Over the coming weeks and months, the city will create a housing acceleration team to streamline permitting and planning for blighted properties, launch a housing permit tracker so people can see the work being done for themselves, launch a community builder program to encourage developers to take on properties that need help, and later, $75 million in city housing funds will be spent on various proposals to assist in the city's goal.
I believe that these affordable housing goals, these housing goals overall, make us safer, make us more economically viable, and frankly make us more competitive.
Tulsa isn't the only city experiencing housing issues. This is a nationwide problem. The U.S. housing crisis can be summed up in two key points, and it doesn't matter which state you live in. There is a shortage of actual housing units, both rental and houses for people to buy. Supply and demand because of this has caused rent and home prices to climb. Those housing costs are at record all-time highs. In many cases, housing costs have soared while wages have only slightly increased or not increased for some at all. It was almost 4 years ago that tenants of one of the largest, if not the largest complex in Tulsa were suddenly told to pack up and leave. The fire marshal's office declared the entire apartment complex of Vista at Shadow Mountain Apartments uninhabitable because of multiple code violations and troublesome living conditions. Many families were suddenly told to move out and find housing quickly. Some of them relied on nonprofits to find open apartments and hotel rooms they could use last minute. In the last 4 years, there have been fires, squatting, stray animals, and more problems for those who live around the condemned Vista at Shadow Mountain apartment complex. Little to no changes in conditions can be easily seen since the day everyone was forced to move out. Tulsa Police and Fire have told us before there have been problems with people breaking in and staying the night in vacant units, and even though there is a fence around the property, they don't stay out. Fox 23 is told this belongs to an out-of-state investor. We have tried over the years to make contact with that investor, but our calls and our emails are never returned. Something to keep in mind, the mayor's announcement today did not ignore the issue of homelessness. The mayor has two working groups and advisors, one on actual homelessness with its own policies and another on actual housing and affordability.